Hi everyone, as students are going back into the classroom, they'll have to put their phones away. Coming up, we'll go over the cell phone policies we have here in our Eastern Washington schools.
And I'm tracking the forecast where it is sunny and warm as we get this new work week started. All the details you need to be prepared for ahead.
And coming up, we hear from Zeal Church about why they chose not to renew a lease with Shalom Ministries. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on KREM 2 News at noon. I'm Laura Papetti. We appreciate you spending part of your Monday with us here at the noon hour. We're headed outside with Jenny Power. She is outdoors on an absolutely picture-perfect day. Jenny, we were out to local schools. We were visiting, making some deliveries of backpacks. It could not have been better this morning.
It was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, Laura. And now that I've stepped out here to the Outdoor Weather Center at this noon hour, picture perfect conditions is right. I mean, out here on Spokane South Hill, the sun is shining. We can also see that out toward Lake Coeur d'Alene. And we've seen quite a few boats here zooming past as we've had this live look up in the newsroom. 77 degrees is the current temperature over in the Lake City with a good amount of sunshine and winds that have been light and variable. So it kind of feels nice if you're taking a walk later on this afternoon. As we take a look at current conditions across the region, here in Spokane, we're currently sitting at a temperature of 76 degrees, 81 out toward Moses Lake, so we are trending warmer toward the central part of the state. Some upper 70s down on the Palouse with some low 70s right now for Sandpoint, Idaho. Air quality, we've also been dealing with some worsened air quality toward central Washington, but eastern Washington and North Idaho, back and forth between good and moderate. You can see some of that upper level haze, but it's not dealing too big of an impact here across eastern Washington and North Idaho. It has been unhealthy to very unhealthy, though, for parts like of Orondo as well as out toward Entiat. That's why we do have some air quality alerts still in place for north central Washington, so we'll keep an eye on that, especially if you are to have any respiratory concerns. Over the next 12 hours, temperatures are peaking in the mid-80s for Spokane. We're clear overnight, but when we could see some changes arrive, that's coming by the middle of the week. The details of that in a few minutes. Laura.
All right, my friend Jenny, thank you. We'll check in a little bit across the nation. There is a push to limit cell phone use within the classroom. Johns Hopkins University and many other researchers say these devices are disruptive to learning and that they are contributing to the mental health crisis. KREM 2's Tim Pham takes a look at our cell phone policies at some of our local school districts.
As students head back to school this week, most already know cell phones are not allowed. Governor Bob Ferguson announced his Away for the Day policy earlier this summer, speeding up the state law aiming for a total cell phone ban on school campuses now by September of 2027. Ferguson says phones are just too big of a distraction.
I don't need another study to know what needs to happen in our schools. You know, these devices just get in the way of learning. They get in the way of teachers being able to teach, and frankly, they get in the way of students interacting and having a positive environment in the schools.
It's a part of a state and nationwide trend which picked up in 2025. So far, more than 30 states have phone restrictions in schools. Here in Washington state, about 75% of public schools limit cell phone use. And data shows these cell phone policies work. Spokane Public Schools started their policy back in the 2024-25 school year. They say in that year, there were 36% less lunchtime behavioral referrals and 22% less failure to cooperate cases. Plus, students were more engaged in class, so they were more likely to pass. The largest school districts in our area all pretty much have similar cell phone policies. The general consensus is elementary and middle schoolers can't access their electronic devices the whole school day, and high schoolers can't during learning time. So let's get into the specifics here. At Spokane Public Schools, high schoolers are allowed to use their phones in passing periods and meals, and students can keep their phones on them. Elementary and middle schoolers can't use their phone during the school day. Central Valley School District, elementary students can't use phones the whole time they're on school grounds. Middle schoolers can use their phones before and after school, but not during the day. High schoolers also can't use their phone during the day aside from lunch or if authorized by a teacher. It's a little bit different for the Meade School District. Their policy for middle school is off and away, so that means no access during the school day. And if you need to contact your student, you can visit or call the main office. The high school policy is distraction-free learning. Phone use is not allowed during learning hours unless authorized for educational purposes. Phones are allowed in common areas or during non-learning time. The phone needs to be in silent mode. And if you have a smartwatch or similar device, that needs to be in airplane mode too. Reporting in the studio, I'm Tim Pham, KREM 2 News.
Today, parts of Riverside State Park are opening back up. The Riverside State Park Foundation reopened the Please Flats and the 9 Mile recreation area. They did share that the fire destroyed the pump house at 9 Miles, so this means no potable water is available there. In 2 hours, Washington Governor Bob Ferguson is expected to meet with Spokane City and county representatives to talk about the wildfire response. That meeting is set to take place at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the Spokane County Courthouse. And the city of Spokane received $1 million in wildfire housing help for people impacted by the Spokane area fires. The money comes from the Washington State Department of Commerce. It will be given out by Goodwill and can go directly towards rental help and utilities. Some of the funds can also be used to pay for items like medical devices, furniture, gas, and more. The city says it has already started identifying eligible residents and will begin enrollment and outreach sometime very soon. And today we are getting a response from Zeal Church on why they did not renew the lease of Shalom Ministries. The church shared a clip of their service on Sunday where they made the statement. Pastor Ray Valdez says they don't hate anyone and are not against feeding people. They have concerns, they say, about the homeless and drug problems near the church. Zeal Church acknowledged that Shalom had been serving meals for more than 30 years and even offered a partnership with Shalom Ministries, which was denied. Zeal Church did accuse Shalom of some of the issues in the area around the church.
During 3 months of owning this property, we have observed and witnessed very unhealthy activity. This includes illicit drug use, drug dealing, drug paraphernalia, vandalism, littering, loitering on our property. We've had those with Shalom who've served in that ministry breaking in and letting drug addicts into our building. We have pictures and we have proof all over the place multiple times.
The church says they received disappointment from the community as well as threats when it was announced that they were not renewing Shalom's lease. Shalom Ministry says because of the situation, they are having to temporarily close down. Shalom did offer more than food for people. They also have resources available for those who are homeless. The suspect accused of killing 5 people in Oregon has been found dead in Washington. Coming up after the break, what we know about the situation ahead.